huge news out of Bloomington today as Indiana football starting safety Amare Ferrell has re-signed and will return to the Indiana Hoosiers in 2026.
You are Locked On Hoosiers, your daily podcast on the Indiana Hoosiers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome in. It is the Locked On Hoosiers podcast. I'm your man, Jacob Goins. I appreciate you being here, making this your first listen or your first watch every single day. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, which is your team every single day and the nation's #1 sports podcasting network. A little live show on a Monday, huh? Been a little bit since we've done a breaking news kind of a live show. I think the last one we did was Josh Hoover committing to the Indiana Hoosiers, but figured we already did a bonus episode on a couple of commits for the day. Why not go live on this Monday evening and talk about maybe the biggest piece of news for Indiana football as starting safety Amare Ferrell has returned to the Indiana Hoosiers. The commit is there. The paperwork is done. He is going to be back for the 2026 season. And ladies and gentlemen, I will try to put this into words since that is technically my job, but it will be hard to do so just to show how important this is for the Indiana Hoosiers. And I want to make this clear, okay, as we get this live show started. Make sure you hit subscribe at the bottom like this and comment your thoughts in the YouTube comments. But this was not a guarantee. Okay, this is a guy in Amare Ferrell who could have been a second day NFL guy, maybe not second or third round, but I think second day. I think a second-day guy on the NFL who, if he wanted to take that chance, if he wanted to say, you know what, I'm going to go pro. I have a chance to do it. Maybe I can get myself onto a squad, get myself a little rookie deal, make some money, and work my way up through the pros. If he wanted to, Amare Ferrell is talented enough to do so. But instead, he said, you know what? I could be a real big leader on this team next year. I could be one of the seniority type of guys who could come back and lead the Indiana defense at the safety spot, which is so important, right? Especially for how the Hoosiers play defense. And he said, I want one more year. I've got another year of eligibility, and I'm going to take it. And that is such a big benefit for the Indiana Hoosiers. Takes a lot of stress off, I can tell you that, especially for a guy like Bryant Haines, who is trying to piece together the Indiana secondary for next season. We've talked about the corner spot where you went and got two guys in the transfer portal, A.J. Harris, who we just did a bonus show on, and Carson Williams, the guy who will be a sophomore next year. But you feel good about guys like Rylan Gandy, Jamari Sharp, and those guys coming back in the corner room. You're going to be just fine. But the idea that Amare Ferrell, who is one of the best guys in the Big Ten in the secondary, says, you know what? I think I want to return one more year, coach. I think I want to come and help, try to win a national championship in a week's time, but I also want to come back and anchor that defensive end or the defensive secondary, right, the back end of that defense, and I want to help us try and go back-to-back. That is a huge testament to Amare Ferrell and his character. It's a huge testament to Indiana in the defensive system that they run, the program that they're running, right, with Curt, Cignetti, and Bryant Haines on that side of the football. And you talk about confidence in the safety room. Oh, my God. Look at what you have now. Amare Ferrell's going to be your guy. Okay, he will be the no doubt bona fide starter at the safety spot. But don't forget that you went to the transfer portal and have already brought in two guys that you're confident in Preston Zachman, who will be a redshirt senior, and Jaquan Sanks, who will be a junior. Those three guys alone, you feel good, can hold down the safety spot by themselves. And then I'm a big fan of Byron Baldwin as well, who's the freshman, will be a sophomore in next year's football season. So I think we're good. I think everything is good to go at the safety spot. Feel pretty solid about the corner spot as well, especially with A.J. Harris, who you picked up from Penn State today. And I think that's something you can check off the list. I think the secondary is good to go. Could you get another guy? Sure, if you wanted to. But you have your high school recruits coming in, a couple of guys coming back, including Amare Ferrell, and now you have a couple of transfer portal guys coming in as well. I really do feel like you're good to go, let me grab my list that I wrote down of important positions that Indiana needed to hit in the transfer portal. And funny enough, the two positions that are basically wrapped up other than quarterback are safety and corner, which I put 8 and 9 on my list out of 9. I looped in the offensive line and the defensive line rather than going tackle and guard and defensive tackle and edge and things like that. I just looped them into one. Okay. So 1 through 9, 1 being the most important, I said quarterback. 8 and 9, I put safety and corner because you feel like you had some guys coming back. You still had an opportunity for big names to return. And Amare Ferrell is one of those dudes. And so you bring back somebody who you trust, somebody who is no doubt about it proven, okay, in the stats, absolutely back that up for a guy who, I mean, I just love how he attacks the football. That's what I love about Amare Ferrell. He's not a safety that sits back and covers his area and just pulls over to help make a tackle or covers his area and says, I'm not getting involved in that. I don't want to be the one to make the mistake. That's not Amare Ferrell at all. He jumps in the play, man. He's a ball getter. He sees it in the air and says, I got it. I'm coming after this thing. I'm going to make a play for my team. That's what's awesome about Amare Ferrell to me. All right, a guy who made Big Ten all Big Ten honorable mention this year, right? Somebody who has started every single game for the Hoosiers and will start in the national championship game. I mean, you can't overlook the experience that he's bringing back for you in that safety room. And what a great story Amare Ferrell is too. A guy that's been at Indiana the entire time. A guy that has been here through and through. He stayed at Indiana when the coaching change happened. He trusted Curt Cignetti and this staff, and I think it's working out pretty well. I think it's working out pretty well for the guy. Now, he's going to get paid. There's no doubt, and he absolutely should. Indiana should pay Amare Ferrell whatever the going rate is on the market, right, for a starting safety in the Big Ten, a good starting safety in the Big Ten. And I think he absolutely will. Had 47 tackles this year, 2 tackles for loss, 6 pass breakups, and 4 interceptions. He's second on the team in pass breakups as a safety. That's not playing one-on-one like a corner. That's going over and making a play. That's covering your area. That's protecting your paint, right? That's covering your ground extremely well. And I think he is going to anchor what could be the best DB room in the Big Ten, but one of the best in the country next year with a guy like Amare Ferrell. So excited to see what's happening with this Indiana team. Seems like a lot of them just want to be a part of it, man. Why would you want to leave Indiana? Why would you? And I'm not saying to go to another school. This dude turned down the NFL to come back for another year. I think it benefits him. I think he could be a first or second round guy next year. Safety, if you're not just elite, it's hard to go super early in the draft, but you could be a second round type of guy. I think Amare Ferrell could be that, don't you? I think he's got all the potential in the world, especially with another year under his belt in a Bryant Haines defense. And so very excited about that, where you are completely good to go in the safety spot, in the corner room, and I see a lot of you drop your thoughts in the YouTube comments. This won't be a super long live today or tonight. Just want to jump in here and talk about the huge news of the day of Amare Ferrell. By the way, dropped a bonus episode about 30 minutes ago or so about the 2 portal commits today, a receiver from Tulane and AJ Harris, the corner from Penn State. So as soon as we're done here, be sure you go and check that out if you haven't already. But I do feel like you're good to go there. And let me look at my list of positions here. Quarterback, I think you're good, right? You've got Josh Hoover. You still bring in or retain, I guess, Alberto Mendoza. I know a lot of you are talking about the offensive line. I talked about that today on the show. We had our man Brian Smith of the Portal Podcast on as well. The Hoosiers are going to be okay. And you've hosted some big name guys. You've just got to land them. And right now, it is a dead period, just for people that are curious. Today, tomorrow and Wednesday is a dead period according to the NCAA, so you can't have any visitors or anything like that. So you won't hear anything then, but you do see guys scheduling visits for the end of this week and into the weekend as well. And I think you have some guys who you can rely on who are your recruits that are young guys on this team and guys coming in as well. But you need dudes in the portal. I'm not trying to deny that. Wide receiver, I think you're probably good. Could you get another guy? Maybe. Depends on what Omar Cooper's status is. The idea that you went and got Shazz Preston today could be a story, could be a telling sign. I don't think it is. I think Omar Cooper is kind of his own beast, if you will. So keep an eye on that. Defensive line, we have a segment coming up on tomorrow's show about what that looks like. Yeah, there you go. This John Jacobs was talking about it. Tucker Landino, yep, you got that. The 2 Kansas State edge rushers have one scheduled, believe the end of the week from Pitt, a big guy that we're going to talk about on tomorrow's episode. So keep up with that. Make sure you check that out. Tight end, believe you're looking for one. Did we bring a tight end in already? Oh yeah, Brock Schott, the Miami kid. Yeah. I forgot about him. You could go get another one if you wanted to. You could go get another tight end. Running back, you have a visitor scheduled coming up this week as well, as soon as the dead period's over. More on that on tomorrow's episode. Linebacker, yeah, you're okay with guys you're bringing back. You feel confident in that. But I would like to go see somebody come back, or at least come through the portal, right? Isaiah Jones or Elijah Hardy, those guys coming back. I love Henry Olinger. I've talked about him a ton. That's the freshman who's coming in. I think he's going to be somebody to keep an eye on. You have Amare Kamara, who will be I think he's a redshirt next year. Have him the linebacker spot, but you need one or two to go build a little depth there. So Indiana's doing well. They're doing very well. But you do need offensive line. You do. You need offensive linemen. You need defensive linemen. I don't care if you have 50 of them. And I really don't care how much you pay them, because that's what they're worth. But Amare Ferrell falls into that category too. And we'll wrap up the live show with just, again, highlighting the importance of this, the anchor that he will be, the trust and the confidence that he brings to that Indiana secondary. He's aggressive. He fits right in with the IU defense. I expect him to take an even bigger step this year, next year, just like he did this year. And that Indiana defense is going to be just fine. I'm telling you, I am so confident in that. It's not even funny. And if there's a guy other than Curt Cignetti that I'm not going to bet against on this Indiana squad, it's Bryant Haines on the defensive side of the football. Ladies and gentlemen, he's making $3 million a year. Let's not bet against him. He has shut down every offense that has gone against him this year. I think he's going to be okay next year too, and you're bringing back a ton of dudes from what could be a national championship winning defense. So thank you so much for being here on this live show. Be sure, before you leave, subscribe to the channel here on YouTube. We'll post this on our audio podcasting platforms as well. Like this, comment, subscribe to the channel. And also, be sure to go check out our bonus episode. We just posted it like 40 minutes ago, okay, on the 2 commits today for Indiana, the corner and the receiver. Go check that out on Locked On Hoosiers, plus our episode today talking about the offensive line with our man Brian Smith of the Portal Podcast. So all of that here on the channel. Big show coming up tomorrow as well. So turn on those notifications so you never miss any of our coverage here on Locked On Hoosiers. We're back tomorrow for a normal episode, Hoosier fans. So until then, stay safe, and I'll talk to you later.